First, we need to install Python. So open any browser, go to python.org. Click on the Downloads tab and choose the suitable version for your operating system. I am installing on Windows, so I simply click on Download. It will download the Python installer. So I'm just going to open it. So here I am seeing a dialog box to install Python 3.12.3 64-bit. It has two options: install now and customized installation. So install now will install Python into your local path, which is this. But if you want to install Python for all users on laptop, you must click on customize installation. Before clicking, you need to check these two checkboxes if it is not selected already. So now I will click on customize installation. Now you will see here several checkboxes. You can check all, but this last one is important. So this particular option requires admin privileges because you are going to install for all users on your computer. If you don't have admin privileges, then simply click install now instead of customize installation. I am the admin of this computer, hence I will proceed with next. Here also several checkboxes are there. I will check all of them. It's your wish if you want to check all or not. So now the modified path is this. So Python will be installed in this path. And I will click on install. As you can see on the screen, setup was successful. You can close this dialog box. Now let's proceed with the next step, which is installing Visual Studio Code. Open the browser again, head over to code.visualstudio.com. Download the installer for your operating system. Run the installer and follow the prompts. So this is the dialog I'm getting when I'm running the installer. I will accept the agreement and click on next. I will click on next. Next. I will check all these boxes and click on next and install. Once VS Code is installed, let's finish. It will open the Visual Studio Code. Now let's configure VS Code for Python development. Click on extensions icon and type Python. So here you will see Python extension pack. So if you are installing it first time, you will see an install button like this just here. You can simply click on it to install it. This extension provides essential features such as IntelliSense, linting, debugging, and many more. To manage dependencies and project settings, it's good practice to use virtual environments. So first of all, we will create one folder for our project settings. Create a new folder with my project and select that folder. Just click on trust and click on yes button. This will be our project folder and we will create virtual environment in this folder only. So to create virtual environment, go to this terminal menu and click on new terminal. We can create virtual environment by entering the command python -m venv env and we will press enter. This command will create a virtual environment named env in the current folder. So here we can see these are the files and folders created for our virtual environment for this particular project. The next step is to activate this virtual environment. So to activate this virtual environment, we can type command /env scripts activate and we'll press enter. So as you can see on the prompt, Now we are using a virtual environment for this particular project in this particular terminal. If you are on other operating system like Mac OS or Linux, you can enter source env bin activate. This command will help you to activate virtual environment for your current project in Linux or Mac OS environment. In Windows, this command will not work, so we'll simply remove it. This is how you can create virtual environment for your project. Now, a question should arise in your mind that why we are using virtual environment instead of using Python directly. So the answer to this question is we can have different project in a single system. So when we install several dependencies for a particular project, it might conflict with other projects' dependency files. So to avoid this conflict in dependencies in different projects on the same machine, there is always a best practice to use virtual environments for each project on the same system. So each project on the system will have its own virtual environment. So there is no conflict in dependencies of different modules between the projects. So now let's move to the configuration of interpreter for your project. Next, we need to configure the Python interpreter. So press Ctrl+Shift+P, select Python interpreter from the list. You will get the list of the virtual environments and Python installation here. You can select the venv from the list that is in our current directory. This ensures that VS Code uses the correct Python version and environment for your project. Let's install some packages. So in your terminal window, type pip install Django. So this command will install Django into your virtual environment. Press enter. Similarly, you can install pip install Flask. So you can see Flask is also installed now. Same way, you can install multiple packages in a single command. So I could have done pip install Django Flask. So this command would also have worked same way. So you can see we have already installed it. So we are getting output like this. Now let's write some Python code. Create a new file with .py extension, app.py. So that is stored in our current project. Now let's write some simple script into it. Print, this is my application. Let's save it and let's run it. So here at your top right, there is a simple small icon to run the Python file. You can simply click on it to run this file. So here you can see the output we have received on console in our terminal window. Don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay updated with my latest tutorials. So now we will look into how we can debug the Python code in Visual Studio Code. Debugging is an essential part of development. To debug the code, we can set breakpoints in our Python code. So here, just beside the line numbers, we can see there are dots are enabled when we mouse hover on it. So here we can set breakpoints just by clicking it. So now we have set the breakpoint on line number 6. So to debug this code, we can click on Run menu and click on Start Debugging. You can directly press F5 button as well. We'll click on it. Here VS Code will ask to select the Python debugger. We will select the Python debugger and we will select one of this list. So here we are debugging a single app, single independent standalone Python file. So we will select Python file. In case you are working with some framework like Django, Fast API, Flask, Pyramid, you can select those from the list. So for this particular file, we will select Python file. And you can see Python file was run and it stopped execution of the file at the line number of 6, where we have set our breakpoint. So now you can check every runtime variables in this variables window. So you can see current value of I is 1 and the value of items is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as initialized in this code. Once the code execution is stopped at our set breakpoint, we have several controls over the execution. Here you can see there is a small bar having several buttons. If you click first button, it will continue execution of the rest of the program. Step over will execute a single line in your code. Now next button is step in. So step in is also same as step over, but with a little difference. So when you click step over, and if that particular line is executing a function, then step over will not go debugging into the function. It will directly execute that function and move to the next immediate line of that particular function call. Whereas step in goes a single line into the function. So that is a basic minor difference between step over and step into. Next button is step out. So for example, if you are in a function and you want to completely execute the rest of the code in that function and come out to the caller, come out to the wrapper script, then this function will help. Next button is restart. You can restart the debugging from the beginning of the execution. And the next button is stop. It will stop the debugging and terminate the execution. So let's now continue. So there is some error. So it thrown an error. And if we do click again, it will simply terminate the program and come out. I hope this was useful to you. So debugging is the functionality where you can set the breakpoints in your editor. It allows you to inspect variables and step through your code. That's it for this tutorial on setting up a Python environment in VS Code. If you have any questions or run into issues, leave a comment below and I will be happy to help. Thanks for watching.